And so, thoughts. I've always been a very cerebral person. I've always found great solace in thinking, and I've really relied on my thoughts. And, in this practice, we get this sense that we're not supposed to have thoughts, that we're supposed to get rid of them. But actually practicing with thoughts and emotions, this is the third foundation of mindfulness. It shows us that our thoughts can equally anchor us to this present moment. It is our thoughts and emotions that can establish mindfulness. And so this evening we were working with awareness, this call to maintain awareness of bodily and mental phenomena, and bringing wholesome qualities to the mind. Practicing right effort, right view. And so from this perspective of meditation, we're seeing this as really cultivation. Bhavana is a word that's often used interchangeably for meditation, and the translation is cultivation. And you've probably noticed this, right? When we're countering unwholesome states, we're developing wholesome states. And maybe you've practiced with the Brahmaviharas or any other heart practice, cultivating compassion, loving kindness, equanimity, appreciative joy. And when we're doing this, we're also practicing non-greed, non-aversion, non-delusion. And so in practicing this cultivation, we need to remember that there's also two elements involved. There's the awareness on the object itself, may it be our anchor or awareness of awareness. And then there's the mind that does the contemplation. And that's the awareness of the awareness. And so it's the things that we observe is which we contemplate, but it's not the thing. It's the act of observing is which we contemplate, right? Because that thing changes and it's not always there. But our six senses are, our bodily senses and our mind, those are there. And those are the things that we can use. So this reason we're doing mindfulness is because our minds, from this perspective, they don't have enough of these wholesome qualities. We don't have enough awareness. We don't have enough mental stability to sustain these wholesome qualities. And that's why we're working with these to grow these qualities so they're operating and working in the mind and they're together with us. When there is sati in the mind, good qualities of the mind have opportunity to flourish. It is our kind, spacious awareness that we give so it has plenty of room to grow, plenty of soil, good air, water, whatever is needed to grow. And so what is it that we can use to help these qualities in our mind grow? And in every moment, thoughts arise and they pass away. Almost in microseconds. And thoughts are tricky too. Sometimes there never seems to be a beginning or an end, or they're not there when you're looking for them, and then all of a sudden you're wrapped up in them and you didn't even know it. And so whatever thought we're in, that leads to the next thought. That next thought inherits the qualities of the previous thought. So as we're growing these good qualities in our mind, we have to repeat them over and over and over. And this inheritance will be passed on to the next mind. It'll be passed on in a stronger way, and it will build quality. Whatever quality it had before will carry over. The quality in which we are meeting together now is dependent on the quality we had before. So please remember that if you're going to practice mindfulness, you need to live mindfully. Yeah? It's so important. And as we've heard many times, it's, as the Buddha said, to be mindful, seated, lying, standing, walking. And so these teachings in this practice, every time I come back, it is this motivation to live mindfully. And so I want to offer you this goal in this moment. When you wake up in the morning, you are living mindfully. All the way until the time you fall asleep, you are living mindfully. You're building continuity. You're bridging the gaps. Yeah. But while you're trying to be mindful consistently, it's so important to remember not to be too tense. This energy of receiving doesn't have much effort. This energy of knowing doesn't have much effort, and that is so important, so we can have that level of effort needed to sustain. If we force ourselves to do something, when we force ourselves and there's too much exerting, there's too much wanting, we notice it's usually the work of greed, aversion, or delusion. Right? We're trying too hard. And this really should just be an easy practice. Your goal should see how you can make this practice easier. A relaxing practice. So there really needs to be right effort to have a consistency. And that effort is so small. And a lot of times when we just think the concept of effort, it's already tinged with greed, aversion, and delusion. Yeah? And with that kind of tinge to every effort, if we're bringing that into our practice, that's influencing our effort of practice. And then really ultimately we're just practicing wrong effort. We don't want to do that. So, for example, like if we're trying to get something out of the practice, we think we should be getting somewhere, and maybe you've been trying really hard. How has greed been leading the practice? So when it comes to effort to remain continuous and mindful, this effort, this practice can be about receiving. Day after day, receiving. Sustaining the energy to be mindful, to be present, to be kind. Saving your energy. Like an endurance event. Every day kind of sometimes feels like an endurance event. And so we can make this a living practice. A practice that is sustainable. And that's, to me, if it sustains, it is of true benefit to others. And so going through this week, I just want you to be, remember awareness. Remember awareness in a very simple way. And remember that awareness, open awareness, is not about forgetting the self. It's about remembering the senses. Yeah?